All right, ladies and gentlemen, so today we're going to cover some more Altissimo stuff. This is extended technique for advanced Altissimo. This is going to be a little more challenging than some of the other stuff, but it's going to make your life easier because we're going to go over some technical things that's just going to increase your facility in this register. Okay, there's this thing called the overtone series, which directly relates to the harmonic series. Now, in a lot of Altissimo books, you'll find that the fundamental is referred to as the first overtone. Now, technically, this is not true. The first note overblown above the fundamental is actually called the first overtone, second harmonic. So if you have your low B flat, and low B flat is the fundamental, that is the first harmonic. The middle B flat, that is the first overtone, second harmonic. This can be disastrously confusing when you're trying to learn this stuff. So I want to move away from this terminology, especially when you take into consideration that the saxophone doesn't really play overtones that well anyway. It deviates a lot from the mathematical formula that it's supposed to stick to in the first place. So low B flat, low B, and low C, they're good enough. Once you get above that, it starts to vary wildly. I call this a catastrophe. This is a disaster. All right? So basically, it's a catastrophe of the harmonic series, or a harmonic series catastrophe, which I've shortened to HARCAT, H-A-R-C-A-T. So in order to simplify all the terminology, and in order to simplify the things that a saxophone does well and things that it does catastrophically, I just want to shorten it all to the notes of the HARCAT, the notes of the harmonic catastrophe, which I'm basically going to refer to all of the overtones that a saxophone produces as some type of catastrophe, because the fingering system that I'm getting you started with isn't from playing overtones off a low B flat. I think it's kind of overkill anyway. Doing that off a low B flat, low B, the fundamentals of the saxophone, is phenomenal at helping you to develop your tone. And if you're a professor at a university, you absolutely positively want your students to be developing their tone along with their Altissimo when they're learning this stuff. However, I've chosen to separate those two. It's a phenomenally simpler way of getting into understanding Altissimo and tone. I mean, there's really no escape in playing fundamentals and overtones and this kind of thing in order to develop your tone. So to make things simple, to simplify everything that I'm talking about, I will often refer to the HARCAT, which is the harmonic catastrophe of the saxophone's method of playing overtones. So on an open C sharp fingering, the fundamental is a C sharp. That's going to be the first note of the HARCAT off of open C sharp. So if you see a number designation that's on a C sharp, you'll see like C sharp HARCAT 1. And then we talk about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the notes you can produce off of using that fingering. And it gives us a middle C sharp, high C sharp, Altissimo A, which should be an Altissimo G sharp, but it's pushing sharp. And then above that, it overblows to a tritone, which is an Altissimo E flat. So as you can see, it's a catastrophe, but it's one that we can use to our advantage. So let's talk about this HARCAT of an open C sharp fingering. Okay, so in order to get started, you can try something like a C sharp, A, E flat in the lower register. And up. Okay, piece of cake, man. All right, so when we combine that with the split F that I showed you, which is just like F with the two finger up, then we can cover some pretty good ground in terms of altissimo. So let's do that same trick with the split F. We'll do that in the lower register. Hear what it's supposed to sound like. And then we'll switch back and forth with the C sharp hard cap. Okay, split F. All right, and then C sharp. Okay. Okay, now if you find overblowing that C sharp a little difficult, don't worry about it. It's difficult. The reason why is that Altissimo A. That Altissimo A is unstable. I only use it when I'm playing something very scalar, like a chromatic scale or like a major minor scale, something like this. Having that open C sharp fingering as a reset is beautiful because it will allow you to be able to develop a lot of speed, but it's inherently unstable. So really focusing on that note and getting that down, it's going to take some time. Plus, you're going to be able to dial it in as you get more familiar with being able to use that fingering. You're going to make some reed adjustments. You're going to make some mouthpiece adjustments. It'll come. But it's always going to be a little funny when you're just trying to stick that note cold. Now, I want to talk about momentum. Momentum is what happens when we are already playing an altissimo note and we move to another altissimo note. There's a type of altissimo momentum that makes it not only easier to play altissimo, but it makes it very fluid. You can use inherently unstable fingerings to great effect by carrying altissimo momentum. So let me give you an example of me playing this chromatic line, and then I'll play up chromatically, and I'll use that unstable C sharp fingering for Altissimo A. All right, check this out. Okay, I'm gonna play a G sharp to B natural chromatically. Easy. So let's talk about the pivot points. What are some really stable fingerings that I can just stick cold out of nowhere? Well, one is using the front key to play D. And it's really fun using that key to play D to E flat. So if you got this bluesy thing. Another one is using the split F fingering for Altissimo C. Any day of the week. And along with that same lick, playing Altissimo A, which has been a focus of what we've been talking about. So I call this a vented D. Just like middle D, but lift the first finger. This is a really stable fingering for Altissimo A. You get a nice multiphonic with it. I mean, it's a beautiful fingering, and this is usually one of the first Altissimo fingerings that anybody learns. So if I'm playing a lick, I'll combine those two. The lick will go like this. I had to think about it. All right, but in the Altissimo register. So being able to go back and forth between a reset and a pivot point in conjunction with using momentum is really like the triad of being able to play Altissimo well. Because whenever you feel yourself getting into a jam of some sort, you know how you can get yourself out of it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm going to take this time to plug one of my upcoming videos. I just got this Claude Lakey mouthpiece for tenor, and with it, because it doesn't come with a ligature, I got this compass ligature here. This is supposed to be adjustable to any mouthpiece. So I'm going to use these together in an upcoming video. This has been in the making for about 30 years. I used to play one of the Alto ones, and that was always a go-to bright type of Alto mouthpiece, but I never had a chance to try one of the tenor ones, so this is going to be a first for me as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for you, so stay tuned. See ya.